fellow budding filmmakers. I'm Jake the Film Guy. Welcome. Today, I'm going to talk about the age-old question of what do I charge? Or from the perspective of the client, how much is this video going to cost? This age-old problem has been the Achilles heel of many of video producers, and I don't want that to be you. Let's break down the costs that you're probably not thinking through when you give your client a quote. I want you to be able to walk away with some confidence in your skill set and the ability to give an exact quote in the first conversation. Let's start with why. Why do you need to be able to give an exact quote in that first conversation? It's very simple. Speed is a currency in this new digital Wild West. You need to be able to give a quote right then and there in those first 5 minutes. Unlike the guys downtown that say, well, we'll get back to you in 24 to 48 hours with a quote. You need to give them a precise estimate and then tell them you're going to go ahead and send an invoice and proposal over for the work that they called you up about or that you called them about. Brownie points if that was the case. So, with your pre-production, where you're going to find the bulk of your time spent if you're doing the production correctly, you're in this mode all the time, right? Where you're constantly looking for the next gig, where you are following up with clients. And if you need help with your creative follow-ups, check out this video here. And you are always doing the administrative as well as the prospective work that we don't always think about when it comes to video production, the part of the sales cycle that requires time, commitment, and relationship building. And you need to be able to factor those costs in, not just scripting, locations, on-screen talent, voiceover, so on and so forth. If you want to run a video production business, you cannot just quote services for a flat hourly rate. You need to account for the time spent in the pre-production, both in finding those clients and then in the customer service, in that relationship building with the client during pre-production. Number 2, production. You got to figure out your costs beyond the ones that I just mentioned, such as insurance, travel costs, per diem if you're going outside of your state, rental costs, and if you haven't thought about it, the processing fees that you are going to have to account for if they're paying you through a service like Stripe, Square, PayPal, so on and so forth. In 2018, the current industry rate is 2.9% plus 30 cents per transaction for a domestic transaction. Now, if you're outside the US of A, it's a different story. You need to account for all of these things when you are giving your client a quote. Music. Well, we can always say music falls under the banner of post-production, so we might as well jump right into that. If you are going to license a track through the music bed, then your price go up, depending on whether it is a wedding video, a crowdfunding video, a corporate video, or even just a personal project like a short film. The music bed has its own litany of costs that you must be respectful of when you are quoting your client for music. Now, I like to use the art list because they allow anybody to partake in their library for a year, and then you can just use that music in perpetuity in any medium, even those that haven't been invented yet. So if the next Snapchat comes along and your video uses a track that you licensed through your subscription to the art list, well, you're covered for all eternity. That's the beauty of the art list, and that's the peace of mind you want to be able to offer your clients. Nonetheless, that's an operating cost you have to factor in. Also, are you going to be doing color grading? Are you going to host these files in the cloud? Are you going to offer any additional special effects that go above and beyond the ordinary? And that could be something as simple as green screening or something a little more complicated as rotoscoping. Does your client know what rotoscoping is? Hey, points if they do, but the chances are they don't. And that's probably not one of the values that you're going to communicate with them when you're assessing your price. There are so many different moving parts that go into producing a video. Your responsibility is to communicate the essentials to your client without losing them in the sauce, but at the same time stressing the fact that you are the woman or the man qualified for this job. I use a very simple breakdown of costs. You can take a look at it at the post, and if you need additional help, there's a tool. It's a Google worksheet I developed so that you can, with a few questions answered, give your client an exact quote, an invoice that shows these costs and communicates the value you bring to the table. Right down to the penny, there will be no guesswork as to what it is you're doing for your client. No more head scratching, what do I charge? Everything's figured out for you. Take a look, try it out for 2 weeks. If you love it, keep it. If not, send it on packing back. Until next time, keep creating with the king and let me know when you've landed your first 4-figure or 5-figure, or if you're ready for it, your first 6-figure job.
Got it.
Thanks, Brad.
Settle.
Ready, and action!